first, you'll want to grab a bucket with a handle, slide it over your ladder just like that. Now you've freed up your hands. You'll see I've been moving the ladder down from that end all the way this way. This is about as far as I can safely reach on the ladder before having to adjust it again. You'll see the ladder's placed at a certain pitch. It's not too angled, but it's also not too straight. And this keeps the ladder from kicking out or sliding. Also, make sure the deck is dry.
All right, so I want to show you real quick on how to properly move a ladder, especially like a 32-foot ladder. Right now it's not super extended, but you know, on like the side over there, we had it all the way extended. And you got to be able to move it without having to collapse all the way down, move it a few feet, and then pull it back up. That would waste a ton of time. So I have it set up here on the deck. The deck is good. We don't have a bunch of algae buildup. It's dry, so it's pretty safe to set the ladder up and go up and down. If it was wet or there was a bunch of algae on here, you'd want to get someone else to at least put their foot there while you go up, just because there's a possibility of the thing kicking out, especially if the ladder isn't pitched the right way. So if you look up at the ladder, the way we do it, you'll see the green bucket is already attached to the ladder. It's literally just the handle is slid right over the top of the ladder. It's just hanging there. That way you don't have to sacrifice a hand. You always want to have 3 points of contact with the ladder, meaning you only want one part of your body not touching the ladder when you're going up or down. So like moving the foot, you know what I mean? So we have 3 points of contact. So try not to hold that bucket if you can. When it gets full, obviously you bring it down, dump it, and then go back up. So here's the way you want to move it. You want to actually grab the ladder and pivot, lift it up slightly. Don't drag it on the roof, but lift it up and set it on the roof. So right now it's at an angle. And we bring the bottom and walk over. Whenever you're done, before you ever step on the ladder, you always want to lift it off to make sure that stabilizer isn't pinched on the roof. And then also so the floor is solid right now, but like if you're in the grass or the ground and you have the spikes in, you want to step on it, get your weight on it, and then lift the ladder off to make sure nothing's pinched. If that stabilizer is pinched, it loses its structural, its structure ability. It could potentially like fold or crimp in half. So that's it. So sometimes when we're like cleaning gutters, we'll just go up in the middle, grab our 8-gallon-a-minute power washer. We might grab the wand and then use like the 2-story nozzle and literally just blast all the debris out so it falls to the ground from both sides. It can be a lot quicker this way, but when we arrived, you could tell they already had their fall cleanup done. Their yard is relatively clean. Everything's pretty clean. So I didn't want to go through and make a big mess, just have to clean it up again. If you come to a house and the flower beds are just packed, full of leaves and everything's just leaves everywhere, it doesn't really matter, because what we would do is, blast everything out and then we would rinse off their deck anyway. If we came here and their deck was full of leaves, we'd be rinsing their deck off anyway, just as kind of like a favor, clean it up. And we'll still be rinsing this deck off just because I got a little mud on it over there from the ladder, and just a little bonus. But long story short, I wanted to just keep it as clean as possible, because if it's already clean, then we're going to spend a bunch of time scooping up leaves and it would be not as time efficient. Plus all the debris in here was pretty dry. So we just went up, made a few ladder movements, scooped our stuff in the bucket, and I just got to grab that little piece. So I'll scoot this ladder down a little bit, grab that. We'll use the ball valve and blow out some stuff that's hard to reach, gutters that are like tucked into a roof line or whatever. But for the most part, we took everything out by hand, and we'll rinse out all of this roof sand, the majority of it, make sure the downspouts are flowing clear, and then we'll be out of here. Also, for the record, Colt Joe already finished the first story stuff, and he's actually going to rinse out the first floor, even though we typically don't do it that way, because when you rinse the second story, it's going to flow into the first story anyway. So you kind of have to rinse the first story twice if you rinse the first floor twice, if that makes sense. But I told him go ahead and get started, because I'm going to be another 10 or 15 minutes getting the debris out of the second story. I still have to go around the corner here, and then there's a spot back there. But go ahead and get started, and then anything that does flow into that first story, we'll just rinse it out real quick. It's not a big deal. But I just want to make a mention, we're practically done with getting the debris out of this entire house. And it's been 45 minutes. Just me and a 32-foot ladder, and him with a little, I think it's an 18 or 16-foot ladder. Just enough to get on the first floor. So, gutter cleaning, baby. Vertigo, or whatever it's called. I'm trying to lean, but I'm scared. See these crazy cutouts, you know? And the steepness of the roof, I mean, there's no way. But yeah, what we'll do is just, you know, blast that out. I'll probably set up on the side. So I'll set up on the grass, sit my, you know, put the stabilizer on this roof. I'll blast out this strip. I'll blast out that over there. And then I'll just kind of keep going around probably. Yeah, because the downspouts right here, so I'll probably go around the whole house that way and then come back this way. This is already cleared out, so I'll set up over there. I'll rinse, blast it all, you know, make sure it all flows. And then Colt will be standing over here letting me know once it runs completely clear out of the downspout. Once the water's running clear, we know everything's flowing and going. Hee-haw. If you have like a slight downgrade, you can see it in the concrete here. It's a slight downgrade. Flipping both the feet up so that the spikes go in can actually be worse for you. So what I'll do a lot is the downgrade's going like this. So I put a spike in here, I step on it, get it to, you know, fit in there, and then I keep this one flat so it actually doesn't go in the ground. And the ladder actually now levels out, and we're nice and sturdy up on the roof. So for this little type of cutout, basically put the ladder up in the center, and I climb up higher than normal. You can see the top of the ladder is at my hip, but I'm able to see all that, and I was able to just blast out any leaves stuck in the corners rather than try to place the ladder and finesse all this stuff. Especially with the roof here, it'd be very hard to get in that corner, so this is a sweet spot for stuff like this. We clean gutters, we always go around and just rinse the face of the gutters off after we're all done. One thing Colt's probably going to have to redo is there's a few leaves up on the top of this flat roof. That's one thing that gets missed a lot with gutter cleaning is you don't pay attention to the roof. When you're up there, you want to just rinse off any debris that's on the roof, because especially if it's on the front of the home. You know, a client comes home and they're looking, like, oh sweet, they got the gutters done. And they see leaves on the roof, like, huh, why couldn't they just get those leaves off real quick, you know? Because that's what clogs the gutter in the first place. So just little stuff like that you want to take care of, because it takes you 1 second. It's easy to overlook, but it takes you a second to do, and it could avoid them them having a sour taste in their mouth about not getting the debris off the roof, you know? Oh, also this is what's cool about this stabilizer. That's what it's really designed for, this yellow one. It's kind of like a hook shape, and you can set it on the corners of a roof. So it does come in handy here and there, you know, for like this. Sometimes it's too short, this little flat part here. So I could get the stabilizer on there and do it straight on, but sometimes, just because of the way this stabilizer is designed, it hooks in. But sometimes the stabilizers are really wide and it wouldn't even fit on there, so you'd have to you'd probably have to like lean it against the house and then climb up. You know, it'd be awkward. So this does come in handy. So I'm up here, that's flowing through. This is a perfect example of where, you know, we would just blast this out. So I'm on the corner, right? Tucked away there, there's a bunch of leaves. Very steep roof you can't get on. Now if you had a pole and one of those gutter tools, those black special gutter tools, you could use this for sure. But we got a power washer, so we're just gonna blast it out and then rinse it off and we'll be good, rather than pull out the pole and pull out the black thing. And between you and me, we have lost all 5 of our gutter tools, believe it or not. So I can't even, we've been doing this whole gutter season without the gutter tool. That's kind of why we've been just blasting stuff out, because we can't get the hard to reach stuff anymore. And it's fine, but we found out it's fine because we end up rinsing everything off anyway when we're done. So if there's a little extra debris from the gutters, it's nothing. So I really want to show you how I do this, but it's going to be tricky because I'm holding my phone with one hand and the power washer with the other. So I'm like wrapped around the ladder with my arm. So I'm on there good, but it is awkward. Here we go. Gotta move quick or else you get blasted with water in your face. The only thing sometimes these leaves get stuck on my arm. You mess with them enough, they break free. That was really angry. But whatever, it's just a leaf. So then we'll blow off the roof. This is awkward. Alright, I'm gonna let you go because I can't even do this with one hand. I can't get the angle I need. I need to be holding this with the hand that's holding the phone. So basically I'm gonna come at it a little bit higher, angle the water down, towards the gutter, and rinse it all out.